Welcome to episode 49 of the Slightly Serious Sign podcast. Before this podcast gets started, we were fact-checked in episode 48. If you haven't watched it, go back and watch episode 48. It's the GSG Grimco acquisition. It's the fastest growing podcast, so go back and look at it. You'll also see that we got fact-checked. And what we said was a certain competitor has in stock on their website, and we said, no, it's not in stock, but we were fact-checked. Yes, it is in stock somewhere. Could be on a factory line in Japan, half made, but technically it's in stock somewhere. So is it a lie? Nope, because it's in stock somewhere. It doesn't say where. Our website does say where, though, by the way. And thank you. Enjoy the next podcast.
I think we should have the nickname of Do It Again. Do it again, Rick.
No, one more time.
One more time, Rick.
My favorite one was the last video we just shot. Domingo and I do it. It's like probably one of our best takes. We're not going to get any better than that. And Domingo just says, "Do it again." Rick's like, "One more time." All right.
Well, I told you that time he came in here, hey, I need you to just overview. He did it. He's like, oh, that was perfect.
Yeah.
Do it again.
Do it again.
What you just said.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
And then you're trying to think of how you said it, how you did it, and then you want to do it again. And then you mess it up.
I mean, how many takes do we have today that you couldn't get it right?
You know what? We had too many scenarios going because all of them were kind of funny. And I'm like, oh, we didn't say that one. God, we got to do it again.
Welcome to my episode of the Slightly Serious Sign podcast. It's my episode because it's episode 49. And believe it or not, that's how old I am. Domingo thought I was 53, but I'm only 49.
Well, you act like you're 53.
So it's a little over 18,000 days I've been on this earth. And it seems like I've probably wasted 17,995 or more. So
that's a good start.
This episode is with Gary from, what's the last name?
Polsinelli.
I knew his last name, but I didn't want to say it out loud because I would have screwed it up.
Yeah, I also wouldn't have pronounced it correctly.
Why?
Polsinelli.
It's pronounced like it's spelled.
So is Hull.
So it's, well,
I always thought it was Hall.
Two bar. To the bar we go.
Anyways, Gary's with Graphtech.
There we go.
That is great.
That's the first time I heard that from him.
One more, please.
It's so fitting.
Two bar, foo bar, what?
All right, Tyler's going to ask questions because I know the first question, but he's good at it. So, but anyways, our episode is dedicated to myself because it's our 49th and I'm 49, and Domingo thought I was older than that. I won't be 50 until April, so hey, we're going to do something special on my birthday podcast?
Sure. You want to?
No.
Do I need to put it in my notes?
Yeah, bring on
Tater. We're going to do an episode without you.
Yeah. Bring on my favorite son.
Okay. I mean, I'm on every episode, so I don't know why I've
No, your fourth favorite. We've talked about this. Your fourth favorite out of 3.
We'll bring on all of them. We'll need 5 mics.
And Tater and I actually share a birthday, so he should be on that episode.
Yeah, but remember, if he doesn't write that down,
who?
You're
Tyler?
getting nothing. Exactly.
Well, I just pretended to write it down on the screen.
Listen,
birthday podcast.
Even if Tater wrote it down, he'd still forget the piece of paper he wrote it on.
That's why I don't use notebooks. You write it down. That's might as well not have written it down at all. It's gonna be gone anyways. Coming up for episode 52, we're going to be doing a live Q&A. That's going to be 9 a.m. on February 17th. And we want you to submit your questions to podcast@wensco.com. And we'll answer all of your questions live 9 a.m. February 17th. So we'll see you there. Gary, thanks for joining us.
Yes, you're welcome. Thanks for having me.
I don't think your travel is too far to come to this. So luckily that's not too bad.
It's about 14 and a half miles, something like that.
Yeah.
We'll up it to 15.
Far drive.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of funny that we did him and Matt on the same day then. So, yeah, well, you guys are hearing it a week apart, but yeah, Matt he had to drive from Big Rapids, so a little further, but
he works 10 minutes from here.
Yeah. So local to here in Michigan. So appreciate you coming on. Do you just want to kind of go over who you are, how long you've been in the industry, and what is your current role at Graphtech?
Certainly. So I'm the Midwest Regional Sales Manager for Graphtech. So I cover the Midwest region, which encompasses Minnesota to Ohio, down to Alabama, over to Texas, on up to North Dakota. So that's my swath of land that I...
they call that the Midwest region?
They call that the Midwest region.
That's not the Midwest.
Texas?
Texas is in the Midwest?
That's like the Midwest United States.
Okay.
Plus. Midwest plus.
We're a Japanese company, so it's geographically
the Japanese
challenged.
own it.
Geographically, they were like Midwest. We don't know. Just draw a circle.
Threw a dart at the board. That's what they came up with.
Like even in World War II, they were trying to bomb actually Florida when they got Pearl Harbor. They're still learning.
So I'm a little bit older than Mike, so we won't talk about that. But been in the industry for about 16 years now. And I guess I cover the gamut because I was actually a Wensco customer at one point in time, if you recall.
Brand new.
Yeah. Ran a shop, did graphic design, did installations. Then after that, went to work for another local reseller dealer.
Extreme.
At that time, yeah.
Advantage Sign Supply.
Not Advantage. You went to Extreme and then you went to Advantage.
I went to Extreme for a few months and then went to Advantage. And then after all that transpired, got picked up by Graphtech. So I've been with Graphtech now since March of 2018. Actually started off as a technician, so did troubleshooting, installations, things of that nature. And then after about a year and a half, Mr. James Belcher decided to ask if I was interested in becoming the Midwest Regional Sales Manager. And here we are for the last, I was going to say 5.5 years, but 5+ years. We'll just go with that.
You can say 5.5.
You can say half, as long as you don't say more than 10.5.
That reminds me, I got to call him. I haven't called him in a while.
James?
Check up on him.
Yeah.
He says he hasn't talked to you.
Yeah, I know.
So
usually we talk.
You're in the former Advantage cult as well then?
Yes.
I guess you can say that. Yeah. And actually before that, so I've been in Grand Rapids now for about 35 years, but I came here to go to college at Kendall. So my degree is actually illustration. So went to art school, and before that,
it's making a lot of sense now. It's making a lot of sense.
The art fits this industry just in general. We talked about that in probably 5 episodes. So, yeah.
So, yeah, kind of a roundabout way, but love Grand Rapids.
Kids? Got any kids?
I do not have kids personally. I have stepkids. So,
okay, good.
That's where I met my wife, actually, was at Kendall. We've been married now 26 years on Thanksgiving, actually, past Thanksgiving. So November 28th. I have 2 kids, both out of the house. One's actually a vice president of Cincinnati Millicron, and then my daughter works over in the Detroit area.
All right.
So,
what's it take to get them to move away? Is there a plan? Is there something I did wrong?
Sure you tuck in the mic.
Apparently us. No, I don't know. They just hopefully were prepared for life, went to college elsewhere, Michigan Tech, which is up in Houghton, and then over in the Detroit area, and just kind of, spread their wings from there, just looking for employment wherever it was.
Did you learn anything, Tyler? Spread your wings, brother.
Nope.
Get out.
And bring your brothers with you. Put them on your back. Spread your wings. Let's go.
I'm good right here. It's a good spot.
He's got those vestigial wings there.
Yeah.
Little nubs on his back.
Like chicken wings, they can fly. Just doesn't look good.
Well, we keep saying, Gary, that, once you're in the industry, you just can't get out. So you want to, but you just can't get out.
That is true. I mean, it's exciting. I mean, you meet a lot of interesting people along the way. There's a lot of different applications that come along, and it seems like there's always something new going on. So
yeah, that's the beauty of it. This industry changes, like we said, every 6 months. New technology, new products, new things, new exciting things to see what people do, because we have the creative minds out there. And like we were talking about signage, you just look at something, you go, how'd they do that?
Right.
It's kind of, if you have any projects that you guys are working on that you'd like to share, by all means, send it to podcast@wensco.com. We'd like to see it and look at it and kind of figure out how'd you do it.
We're going to play out how'd you do it episode.
You know what?
People's craziest projects.
We could do it just like that. What's the magic guy, the one that doesn't talk, Penn and Teller? Yeah, they have that show where you come on, they tell you how you did your trick. We could do the same thing with signs. We could tell you how you did it.
Yeah, if they send us in some complex ones, we'll do a whole episode for you.
Or you have it, you guess it, and then how you really did it. One of those type things, something like that.
Yeah, and it turns out we don't get any of them right. That's probably the most likely.
Well, this is how you're supposed to do it.
Yeah.
Well, apparently you did it wrong. You better redo it.
Sounds like you did it wrong to me.
Yep.
That's funny. Yeah. Okay, so how long did you say you've been at Graphtech then?
Graphtech, it'll be 7 years in March.
Okay. And you started as a technician there then?
Yes.
So kind of the full range of Graphtech, I mean, pretty much servicing and selling the equipment. So
pretty much. So yeah, I think that helps out in the scheme of things, just the overall knowledge base. Hopefully, if somebody asks me for a question or looking for some troubleshooting, they kind of see that I at least have a little bit of background. I'm not completely BSing them. You know, so
yeah, it helps to be able to do, I always say like, it helps when the person you're getting in touch with at least knows the first step, right? Like
Right.
at least the base level of maintenance and service, where it's like, hey, let's just try these, at least these 1, 2, 3 things real quick before we like actually have to get someone involved.
yes.
Because oftentimes those are the solution to the problem anyways. So rather than waste time and try it and get someone else involved when it was really easy, it's easier when the first person already knows the answer. So
Yeah, you look good when you like get the answer really quick. And, oh yeah, that worked. Hey,
did you guys clamp down the pinch rollers?
yeah.
Oh no. Okay, good.
did you move the pinch roller into the blue area?
Did you reset the machine?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. It's beeping at me and it says reset machine. Okay. Did you try resetting the machine? Just a thought. Crazy idea, right? But I think it might work. Yeah, it's definitely happened a few times. So for people that don't know, kind of who is Graphtech and what products do you guys sell?
Sure. So Graphtech's been around since the 40s, and starting in the late 70s, they actually developed a pen plotter type machine that did patterns and things along those lines. So moving to the 80s, moving forward, they actually took that and adapted it to do, with the blade, to do cutting. So that kind of brings us to where we are now. So we make roll feed cutters, smaller flatbed cutters for the print and cut sign industry. We're also big in the window tint industry, automotive industry. So that's kind of where we stand right now with our product portfolio.
So you guys don't have a huge variety of products, right? But there are a few, and there are
not because we don't want to, but
correct, yeah, because you don't, with the solution you're trying to solve, there's only so many ways you can do it, right? But even on roll feed, right, you kind of have a couple options there. How does somebody know when they're looking at it whether they need to get one version versus the other one?
Yeah, there's a few things you need to look at. One of the first things is going to be size. And then what you're doing, if you're looking to just get in the industry and you're doing heat transfer, you're doing smaller rolls of media, like 15, 24 inch, I would say our CE series is what you're looking to use. Those come in 15, 24, and 50 inch sizes. And then if you're looking for more speed, that's what we consider our kind of entry level, low to mid production type units. If you're looking for more production oriented, kicking out product, you're looking at our FC series. Those come in wider sizes, 30, 42, 54, and 64. And those are able to do thicker materials, track longer, just a beefed up unit that allows you to do more with what you have. And obviously the price point kind of follows with that too.
So is it, what do you find is the number one reason someone goes from the CE to the FC series?
It's going to be probably production and size. Okay. If they marry it with, say, a printer, you're probably looking at a 54 inch because that's generally the size that people get in terms of the printers. So that goes perfectly with a 54 inch Graphtech. So that, and then just production.
Yeah, if you're doing a lot of stickers kind of things where you're using a print to cut device like that can also come in handy. But if you're looking at a production, you got a machine that's printing and then you're going to put it on a plotter and cut. You could also be printing on the other printer and do die cutting as well. But Graphtechs are really made for like all kinds of different thicknesses. I mean, you can do stencil with it, but I noticed that you talked about the window tinting because Wensco is getting into a lot of that area of window tinting. There is what they call an AKZ kit.
Correct.
That you would have to buy for the plotter, the Graphtech. And what it is basically an anti-static kit. So when you put that window film on, there's a lot of static being generated from that. So that's what discharges that. So if you're definitely going to do window tinting, I recommend that you have to get that.
What's the static do to the machine?
Well, you could have discharge. I've seen it where people that have plotters that have carpet.
Yeah.
And that vinyl hits that carpet, it discharges. and it'll actually send signals back to the motherboard of the Graphtech or whatever plotter device, or even a printer. It could do the same thing, and it could mumble jumble your graphic up or cutting, whatever that may be. So sometimes even having that for if you're on carpet, we definitely recommend a rubber mat underneath all the Graphtechs. Wait a minute. Am I selling the product?
Yeah, I don't know. That's why he's stealing some of the thunder with some of the questions. I know you were.
Oh, am I already?
Oh, no, you're in a good spot.
It always happens that I never see the questions, but then I talk about the product and get it going.
Yeah, it's perfect.
I'm sorry. Sorry to steal your...
No, you're good.
You're good.
The reason why I say this, because I've been in Gary's shoes before because of the technical background, and we've always run into those simple issues, but it's just customers don't really understand that. So they just kind of need to be clarified and hopefully understand how to make the process work better. So, sorry, Tyler.
It does feel like you put the static kit is kind of ruining a lot of the fun. You know, trying to grab the rolls off the back.
I'll tell you what. Have you ever got a charge on
You had a discharge?
Yeah,
I got it on what were we using?
Probably the translucent
architectural. Oh, that's what it was.
Translucent because it's going to be a lot.
Yeah, the clear stuff. Yeah, it got me pretty good. I didn't think about it at all, and then just went to pull the roll off the back. It wasn't even on the front. I was just pulling it off the back, and it'll wake you up real fast. You know?
It'll wake you
good
up.
Morning. Yeah, it was not a good time. Yeah, it would have been good to know.
All right, so you either can take it off the carpet or just have the new guy change the roll.
Yeah, those are your two options. Yeah. Or put it on the rubber mat.
Well, humidity comes into play as well.
Humidity comes into play. I mean, you're going to see that issue manifest itself generally in the fall, in the spring,
winter.
at least in the upper Midwest because of the dry air that happens now.
So you almost expect more technical calls during this time.
Yeah, we get them. I mean, we actually see it too. The other part of the AKZ kit that I was going to bring up that it does have the anti-static string, and then it also comes with tint blades. So we call them our K60 blades, but they're 30-degree blades that are used for window tint and PPF as well. So that all comes, or you can get that in a kit.
How does that differ from the standard blades?
The angle. So it actually is less of an angle, so it actually gives you the ability to do shallower cuts because that material is so thin. Mm-hmm. One of the biggest things that you see with window tint, especially with people who are new to getting into this, so this might be helpful for others out there that are thinking about this, is the blade depth is really key when it comes to window tint, because if you just use your standard even vinyl depth, you're going to damage your cut strip, and you're going to have issues with your patterns popping out, and you don't want that to happen. So it's a balancing act, but it gets done.
Yeah, most angle blades are 45 degree. So when you start going into a thicker material like stencil or reflective, you're going to be using a 60-degree blade. So yeah, anything that's really thin like that.
Yeah,
I mean that's even thinner than the 2 mil. So I mean it's really thin.
So going back to just in general, the two units, kind of what are some features on, let's say, the FC series that I think when people hear about them, they don't like, okay, that sounds fun, but end up being things that people use way more than they thought they would originally.
One of the things that at least I think is a good feature is a USB thumb drive, the ability to do that. And what that is basically, so one of the other calls we get a lot, and I'm sure your tech team gets a lot of calls on, is communication, where hey, we've set this up and the computer can't communicate with the cutter. So basically what this is, this allows you to actually use a USB thumb drive, save the jobs to a thumb drive, and you can actually drive. And this is what I do when I'm at Wensco's open houses. And I think you guys have all seen this. I use a thumb drive, so you don't have to worry about sending the job over in conjunction with barcode. It's going to generally, it's a print and cut function. So it actually helps you automate the process a little bit as well. So you don't always have to sit there and be hitting the send button at the computer. So you're free to do other stuff. You're free to do weeding or design or whatever the case may be, and just keep an eye on the cutter as it does its thing.
Yeah, the barcode specifically, I think is a feature that I think people, when they see it, are like, the crop marks have always worked. What do I need this barcode thing for? It seems like a waste of my time. But when you see it, when you're like at the open house, right, and we're running just basically a full roll, just unassisted, it just runs. it scans every whatever, however far you have it set, but for yours, it's usually like a foot or 18 inches or whatever. And then it resets itself and then it won't mess it up versus like if you were doing, if you're doing a bunch of stickers, you're doing like 500 stickers, right? And you set them up all in one job. By the time you get to the end, especially if they're bigger stickers, sometimes you might get like that 16th where it's slightly moving a little bit at the end. You're like, it's close, but it's not as good as it was at the beginning. That barcode will just kind of give you that reset in the middle.
Right.
And I think when anyone that's doing a lot of stickers uses that feature, I think they never do it any other way after that because it's
people who use it love it.
Yeah.
And that is true. One of the other things in conjunction with that, and, as you're talking about doing a lot of decals that way, or you have a lot of different jobs that you want to gang up and run, our 54 and 64 inch models also have the ability to have a take-up system. So it's similar to in process to a printer and how they do the take up. And it allows you to run jobs up to about 65 feet. We've done it longer than that, but that's what it's rated to. It comes down to the diameter of the media on the actual take up system. But that's another one of those extras that people really don't know about. But if you have a workflow like that, where you're doing a bunch of different decals and you're trying to run a lot of production, that's a very useful feature. And it actually helps with tracking over the length of it because you're using the actual media flanges to do that as well.
Yeah. And the other thing, when as I said, the barcode and said sometimes it can come off. How long do you guys rate this for to cut basically in one run without the barcodes in the middle?
If you're talking about the FC series, it's rated up to about 50 feet. I would always recommend using intermediate marks. I wouldn't want to try to do the 4 corner marks on a 50-foot run. You know how that goes, right? Trying to fix that. The FC series tracks longer. You can add additional push rollers as well. And why would you want to add additional push rollers if you're doing longer runs or you have a heavier media? We're really good at high intensity reflective as well. You'd want to add a couple additional push rollers to that for that purpose, to help move the media and keep it accurate as it's going in and out. The CE series, you're looking at about 15 feet. So, that's the other, like I said, it's an entry level model that gets you going.
Rookie model.
Right.
And
right.
Everybody's a rookie at some point. You can either choose to play right away or you can choose to be a rookie, stand on the sideline, then play. That's
a good way to look at
between
it.
the CE and, but
when I started here, we had that CE 5000. I probably ran that thing 1,000 times and I never one time had an issue with it the entire time we had it here. And so then when the new one came out, it's like, man, this thing is awesome. But the other one also just works. I don't know what to tell you about it. I mean, I would love to sell you the FC, but I was like, man, they are just bulletproof.
There's a lot of them out there still.
There's still
I think
a lot
that's
of
why you guys
CE3000s. I get people coming up.
Yeah, and they're still running. No problems. I asked that question because when you guys came out with FC 9000, do you remember what we were cutting? Do you remember this at all? When you said, I think you said when we saw it originally, he said 50 feet. And you're like, 50 feet? There's no way this thing's going to track 50 feet, dude. That is so far. And I don't remember what we had to cut, but it was up there. It might have been a little over 50. And we're like, we might as well try, right? Yeah. What's the worst that's going to happen? We mess it up. And no take-up rail either. I didn't even use the basket. Actually, we held it so that it didn't fall on the floor. And we cut, I think it was over. I want to say it was like 52 or 53 feet. No issues.
We're like, this is pretty good.
Good.
And
I still think the best feature we haven't talked about though, the FC, is that it has a flat top, so you can put your soda up there.
Drink of choice.
We don't recommend that.
He triple filtered himself.
But you also you're walking around, you're working off your iPad, and like the old one, where do you set it down? When you went to the old FC, you couldn't set anywhere. Now you can at least set your iPad down, get it worked, and then you can't set it. You couldn't set it anywhere. You had to set it on a different table before. And they finally. You see a lot of the printers doing it now too, where they have a place. They have a place to put something because they never did before. They're always angled. And you're not always. You guys, Advantage guys, are walking around with your Franklin planners where you can put them when you walk over to them. So that was another feature that I thought when it came out flat, I'm like, that's a lot better.
Yeah.
Now, do all of these come with a basket except for the 40?
That's a great question. So the FC series, the basket comes standard. The CE series, the basket's optional.
Okay.
Except for the CE 8040, that's a tabletop only model.
Right.
So if you get the 60, which is the 24-inch or the 50-inch, the basket is optional.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is a question I should probably already know the answer to, but I actually have no idea. What does the number represent? 60.
The dash 40, the dash 60. Yeah, so again, we're going to the Japanese measurement. So it's 40 millimeters. Right, so the translation should be 15, so on and so forth.
In my head, I was thinking it was centimeters, and I was trying to do the math. I was like, I don't think that it works out very good. I don't think that's quite right. That makes more sense.
Back in the day, it was 130, right? Yeah. The 86 130, and then all of a sudden they came out with a 140, and I'm like, wait a minute, what changed here?
Still are.
That's funny. Same, but just slightly different. So the other thing that we see with currently in the market is there's a lot of cheaper options for cutters, especially on the smaller side of things, but even in some of the entry level models that are getting up, 30, 40, 50 inches. If somebody already has one of these units, let's say, when do you think it's time they should start looking at upgrading or getting into a Graphtech? Like, what type of issues would they be running into, or would be beneficial to get a new machine?
Well, a lot of it's going to be cut quality issues. They're not able to track as long as they need to, or they need to up their production accuracy. Our ability to do thinner to thick materials, we're pretty good at that. Window tint to high intensity reflective. Some of it comes down to support software, things like that. And I guess to the point we were talking about earlier, you had a CE 5000 that's probably 15 to 20 years old now. Our machines are built to last.
Plus you can't get the parts.
Yeah. And that's part of it too. So, after a while, it just comes down to being able to support the unit.
It's all about support.
And when I'm at shows, people will come up and they'll have some of those questions and they'll describe what their issues are. And a lot of it comes down to the cut quality. If it's feeding a certain direction, it cuts differently than if it's, feeding out, for instance, or something like that. So
grams of force, all that stuff comes into play. People are not looking at apples to apples. They're just looking at a price. And then eventually, well, it was cutting great this week, but next it's not cutting great this week. It's like, well, that can change.
They're just living with the issues rather than trying to fix them. I know the one we see the most with the cheaper cutters is anyone that does a longer job. It tracks straight fine, but when you get towards the 10-foot mark, you end up being like a 1/4 inch off or an 1/8 inch off on the back end. And usually it comes down to the pinch rollers, but the problem is they can't replace them. You can't get the part. They don't exist. There's no support for them. And it's not like a fixable problem, right? It's just like, okay, so now typically this would be solvable, right? Like if we had a Graphtech and for whatever reason you ended up with a flat spot, you would get that effect, but you could fix it, right? It'd be, if you just get the part, swap it, we'd be done. But with these models, there's no option there. There's no parts, nothing.
That was one of the questions I was going to ask the sales reps here. When you sold the Graphtech back in your day, were the pinch rollers supposed to be up or down?
Oh, just clamp them down the whole time, dude. I'm selling as many replacement wheels as possible.
Because we'd always get calls that it's slipping, the material is slipping. It's like, hold on. Are you guys leaving the pinch wheels down?
Yeah. Just clamped.
You're supposed to put them up at the end of the very night?
Yes.
Oh, man. That worse.
You know what, though? If you're out of warranty, go ahead and leave them down.
Yeah.
We want to repair.
If you're in warranty, though, please lift them up.
Yeah, if you're in warranty, please lift them up. If you're out of warranty, go ahead. That's the time. Go ahead and leave them down. We'll sell you some new ones.
Yeah. Laminators, same thing. Oh, my gosh. The amount of times I just get like this wrinkle or this bubble in my, and you're like, this is not going to be a good conversation to have. Like, I already know how this is going to go. You're going to tell me I'm wrong. We're going to look at it, and it's not inexpensive, or it's not a cheap fix for sure. So,
or if they cut it.
Yeah. Or like the rollover table too. Same thing. Like sometimes I'll come in here and it'll just be down.
Usually it's because
usually it's because we run out of air.
Yeah.
But, those aren't cheap
mine's
fixes.
Not plugged in. It's down. There's nothing I can do. There's no air compressor.
It's just. So anyways, leave them up. What we're saying is because it will put flat spots on the pinch rollers, which will give you tracking issues or cutting issues.
I don't know if Tyler has this question on there, but I'm going to ask it. Accessories or consumables for the Graphtechs, what do you see customers should invest in besides blades Should they be getting an extra cutting strip? Should they be, what kind of other things that they should be looking at so that they have it ready to go, pop it in?
Cutting strip is a good thing to have on hand. I think they can get those. I don't think they can. I know they can get them from Wensco as well. Pinch roller wheels, to your point, over time, when you first get them, they're pliable, so they track a lot better. Over time, they start to get a little hard, so they get a little slippery. So we recommend, especially if you're using them all the time, replacing the pinch roller wheels once a year.
Okay.
So that'll help just get ahead of any issues that you might have. And to the point of repairs and helping fix machines, main boards and things like that, just so everybody knows out there, Wensco is an authorized service center for Graphtech. So another advantage to buying from Wensco is that they can actually work on the equipment as well. So that's a big bonus.
Yeah, I think oh, excuse me.
Whoa. You have to cough it. Are you getting sick?
Dude.
I'm sorry. The funny part with
so all going around here.
The funny part with service on Graphtech is compared to any other piece of equipment that we put out in the field, how often does a Graphtech actually need to come back for service?
Every day. Wait, he's here. Never. And I mean, almost.
I said half a day. Every half a day.
We talked about this other one. We could make the machines a little less quality.
Yeah.
We want everything made with less quality because we want them to break
Just
sooner.
slightly.
Yeah.
We're in the sales business. We're not in the...
Yeah.
Wait, can I say that? We're not in the quality business. We're in the sales business. Like, we love light bulbs.
You guys heard it, right?
Yeah.
Light bulbs were 10 times better than LEDs.
Yeah.
In a sales
because you had
part
to buy
of it.
10 times
exactly.
more frequently.
Well, yeah, you bought them, and the next winter they wouldn't light up again. You had to buy them again. LEDs light up year after year. That's nonsense.
Yeah. So it's
Christmas
we
lights.
say that to just say, like, we almost never have to fix them. And the same thing, like, sometimes they'll ask, like, oh, do you guys have any used ones? And be like, no. And be like, and I think the next question is like, oh, obviously they must not last, right? That's what, no, because they just buy a new one and then they just keep the old one because it's still working. Like, they haven't had any issues with it.
They're running
just
double production.
They just
now.
need another one, and they're like, well, I might as well. And they never use it, right? It's just sitting in the back. It's been sitting there for like a year and a half now. Nobody's ever turned it on, but they're like, we might need it someday. And if they turn it on, it'll still work fine. So,
but I did hear you guys say every year they should change the pinch rollers. I know we don't sell enough pinch rollers right now. So people that are out there,
yeah, you're overdue for pinch rollers.
You're overdue for pinch rollers. It's probably not tracking right. Like, if you got a couple year machine, let's do it. let's get some pinch rolls. Let's have a run on them.
We might have to raise our stock levels on the pinch rollers because I guarantee you we don't sell a lot of them.
No, I bet we only. I would guarantee right now we got 6 in stock right now. 6 rollers.
And go back about that. I'm sorry, just to go back on the pinch rollers because it's really important. If you ever watch a Graphtech on a new machine and you put 2 mil vinyl on it, it makes engroovements into the material, right? Just enough so that it gets better tracking. So on the long runs, so if you don't see that on your plotter right now, you might want to start thinking about changing those pinch rollers.
We're putting that on Domingo's warranty report now.
Pinch rollers.
Thanks for those pinch rollers. At 12 months.
Speaking of warranty, I'm going to say it out there that Graphtech does offer. They come with 3-year warranties on the FCs. You can buy additional 4th year, 5th year from Wensco on new machines that we sell to have a 5-year bulletproof warranty. I mean, it's not that much. I think it's like $500. I think it is, or
$550, $650, something like that. Yeah.
For additional 2 years, that's awesome.
Yeah, and now you want to tell them they usually break about 3 years and 2 months too, so you should get the 4th and 5th.
Well, every now and then you get an electrical surge and they need a motherboard, and too bad.
Now, to expand on that point a little bit, you want to do it within the first, I believe, 90 days of your purchase to get that extended warranty. So just something.
Yeah,
to
you
think
can't
about.
call us 2 years in.
Yeah,
and
say, I want it now.
No,
something's happened, and
that's not how it works.
37 months.
That's why you should ask your sales reps and reference it. You should always ask a sales rep if you're buying new equipment. Hey, is there warranties purchases that I can buy up front to give me that full 5 years? That's on a printer. That's on a GFP laminator, Graphtech.
Americans are so anti-warranty though, or anti-service plan, because we get hit with them everywhere.
That's true.
Literally, like you buy like a $15 blender at Walmart. Do you want the warranty like for $8? No. Like it only costs me $15. I'll spend the other $7 if it breaks in a year.
But
some are worth it.
But if you get a plotter that's $6,000
and it costs you $550 and a motherboard's $1,000,
more than that, it's like
$2,500, then that number's worth it.
It's the same thing with the printer.
So, but we're so quick to say no because we get hit with them every day. Like you can't check out at any store without saying, do you want the additional policy?
And when you go down, it's never a good time, right? It's always, hey, we're super busy right now. We need this machine up and going. So how much money are you going to lose by waiting or having to pay for it at that time as opposed to
just buy another plotter,
being a little preemptive about it?
And we can tell you, like
that too.
Like Wensco service, like we have tiers of who we go first, and machine in warranty down, whether it's Graphtech, Roland, whatever we might sell, is number one priority. And then it usually goes that, then installs, then machines not in warranty. And then the final one is machines not bought by
us. We don't.
If you didn't buy them from us, you're on the third tier, maybe the fourth. Sometimes you get lost on the page. So it's just the reality of it.
It's the reality of it.
If you bought it from some other person and you want us to service it, you may get lost in the shuffle for a month or two.
Yep.
I mean, we're not frequently caught up. So if they're always on that page of the report, we got a lot of stuff to go through. So get in warranty and we'll get out there.
Yeah, warranty is number one priority. So if you buy that 4th and 5th year and you happen to go down, 1, it's covered, but 2, we have you up and running right away. And if we can't, we usually
get a loaner,
shuffle a machine out to you. Yeah. But if you're not in warranty, you're behind the people that are in warranty and you're behind the installs as a priority.
Well, and again, with all the equipment that you guys sell, you service all the equipment that you sell pretty much. Is that a correct statement? So, I mean, why not?
Epson.
Why not buy?
Yeah, Epson's the only thing.
From Wensco.
I think we have 7 or 8 techs on the road every day.
Installing, repairing.
Yeah, maybe more than 8.
Maybe
it's 10.
I haven't seen them in the last like 3 weeks. So
we have 3 that work out of this location, and they've been just swamped.
Yeah.
And a lot of it's been installs. We do a good job of selling machines at open house, but then it's also our year end. So like you sell a bunch of open house, then you sell a bunch towards the year end. And next thing you know, these guys are super busy, and you've seen them yesterday. Like we were sitting here, they were putting machines together all day to go install. So
nice.
They're super busy right now.
That's good.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why you should be in warranty though.
Stay in warranty because you get in front of those installs. We put people that are down in warranty get priority over even installs because it's a priority.
Good to know.
It's a big priority.
So speaking of all the other equipment we sell, so obviously our number one on equipment is Roland, and they have an integrated cut feature to them. But can we just talk about kind of what the added benefits are to adding a Graphtech, even if you currently already have a print cut device?
Sure. You want to take it, Domingo, or you want me to go? I'm just kidding.
I don't know if I'm selling Graphtech or not. I was ready to answer that question.
I thought we were there.
I was ready.
You forgot to wear your Graphtech polo to this podcast.
Hold on, put it underneath there.
So even when I'm at your open houses, one of the questions I ask, if they say we have an all-in-one print and cut from Roland. So one of the first questions I ask is, do you laminate? And they'll say, yes. So the next question I ask is, what can't you be doing if you're cutting and you need a print? So you can't print when you need to cut, and you have to take it off and laminate it, put it back in the cutter anyway, correct? So what this is going to do is help them speed up production, get more throughput, take more jobs that they might not normally take. Our cutter, again, going back to everything that we've talked about, is going to be faster. When you see the speed of the two running next to each other, you're going to, back in the day when I used to install all-in-one solutions, the first time I did one, I was like, is there something wrong with this machine? Because it was cutting so slow, but that was top speed. So we're going to be faster, allow you to track longer, do different medias. And the other part of it too is with our cutter is we have a through cut channel. So if you want to do those nice little pop out decals that I'm sure a lot of people at the Wensco open houses have seen me do, our through cut channel allows you to do that. Whereas with Roland or any of the other competitors, you actually have to, except Mamaki, you have to go over the cut strip. You have to dial in that blade depth to make sure that it's not going too far into the cut strip where you damage it, and then you will have to replace that cut strip. So,
yeah. So I think the one thing we've seen is one, if you're laminating, you already have to take it off anyways. I think that's a great point. So you already have to take it off. So rather than put it back in your printer, you can put it in a cutter. But the second one is on a print cut device, the cut is typically the bottleneck because it's not dialed in to do cut, right? But if you had a Graphtech alongside that, the cut will actually keep up with the printer for most of it.
Yes.
Right. Versus on a Roland, it wouldn't do the cut. Even if you had two of them and they ran side by side, the cut will be slower most of the time, right? Unless you're cutting, like a border or whatever, it's going to be simple. But if you're cutting stickers, 100% of the time, it takes me longer to cut them than it does for me to print them. But if I pulled them out and put them in the Graphtech, it would cut them at least the same speed I'm printing them, if not faster. So if you have a print cut and you ever run into issues where you can't make product fast enough, that would be the first reason I would look at one.
Well, they say time is money, right?
Exactly.
So if you're wasting time, you're wasting money.
And I mean, you guys have customers that have probably 3 or 4 printers and 6 or 7 Graphtech cutters.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Just feeding them all day long. So
yeah, we talked about this before. We have a lot of people that will buy the VG3, the print cut, buy a cutter, and then they go back to buy another printer, and they still buy the print cut printer, knowing they already have a Graphtech and they never use it. And it's like they never buy just a print device from Roland. They always buy a print cut, and they'll buy another cutter, and they're still buying their print cut, and they never ever use the cutter. So they might as well just take the blade right out of there for most of them.
It's like what I talked about with the Graphtech in the corner that's never been used. It's like, well, if I needed it, I have it, but they never need it. They never need it.
And to your point, why do you think that is?
I think they're just so comfortable with it. Like they're just like, oh, well, I might need it. Just like you said, I might need it. But they never need it.
Yeah.
Or do they think maybe it's more complicated to do it that way? To do a print and a cut? Like it's intimidating or?
No, I think for the most part, like when I'm talking about that, they never use it. They literally know, like a lot of the customers that have been around a while, they literally print, pull it off, cut. And like, they never use the cut device on the Roland, but then I need a new printer. They buy the exact same printer. Why'd you buy a print cut again? And the reality is they don't know.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean? So they buy instead of buying a print only device, they buy the VG3, the print cut. And it's just like, okay.
And I think on Roland side specifically, talking to them, I think it's almost like a cult following. Like once you've used one, you've had good luck with it. It's just like, why would I buy anything else? I've been using this one for 25 years. It's still working.
Well,
we were literally just talking about that today. Like, is it a VP? Because we won't take it. I'm just letting you know. I know you think it runs good and everything works good, but we're not taking any VPs in, okay?
Yeah, they're finally getting to the point.
Well, you can't get the parts.
Yeah.
Once you can't get the parts.
But there's some super old Roland. Like this guy's probably still running, and it's probably a VP. It's probably 15 plus years old. But it's like now you get to the point where they don't have those same old print heads or newer print heads. And sometimes you'll put them in and blow the board. Well, you can't get the board. And it's like you're stuck with that customer fight where, well, it wasn't the board issue. It was a print head. But it's your print head that caused. Yeah. So like we're just like on those ones we're saying, hey, look, we have to walk away because we're going to wreck something that we can't get the part for. We may get some of these parts, but we're probably going to wreck something that we can't get the part for. Like you're going to blow a fuse that we can't get the fuse for, so I'm just going to put a little pin in there. Then you're going to have a fire and you're going to blame me.
Yeah, it's a catch-22 for sure.
So like we have to walk. There's some machines that are still running, still good machines, still look good. We have to walk away from.
I got a call the other day for a Graphtech 3000. And he needed parts, and I'm just like, well, first of all, stop. What kind of Graphtech is it? 3000. I'll have your sales rep give you a call. That's all I can say.
It's time to move.
I don't want to waste time looking for parts that I know are not there.
Yeah. They said I needed parts, and Domingo said, what? You said you needed a quote? Is that what you said? They said no parts. He said, yeah, I said quote. You need a quote.
Good job.
You don't need parts. I promise you. You're not going to find them.
Yeah. Nope. Or you look at like, wait, did this one even was it too old to even plug into a computer? Like, what's the cord look like on this thing?
Yeah.
You start looking at the cord, you're like,
DB9?
What kind of cord is this?
Serial to 25.
Yeah, exactly. Or if you ask them what operating, my computer crashed, I need to get the dongle for this software. I'm like, well, what? It was a Windows 98 computer or something. I'm like, what?
Hold on, it takes a little while.
I had that
2024.
The flag is going on it.
I was at an install one time, and they had Windows 98 with no internet. And obviously, for most installs now, you at least need internet to start.
Yep.
I don't even think about asking it as a question. And then you're just like, well, I kind of need the internet to do anything. We're like, well, I guess I'm going to get out my hotspot. But he's like, can we just use this computer? Literally, it was Windows 90. I just looked at it and was like, I don't think so. I said, I can't guarantee it, but I'm fairly confident it's not going to work.
Put the floppy drive in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, this comes on USB. Does it have one of those? Do you have a floppy to USB adapter for this computer?
You know, you're talking about stories about technology. I had one lady call in back in the day in Advantage when I was tech manager. She goes, yeah, I have problems with the computer I brought from you. And I'm like, whoa, what's going on? And she said, my coffee holder broke. It won't come out. I was like, wait a minute. I had it.
She took the flat top a little bit further.
A little bit flat.
You know what? I like that. Is she still around? Because that's my kind of woman right there. That's perfect.
I hate to pick on her. I'm not going to mention her name, but I hate to pick on her. But she has another story. I turned on the power of the computer and it won't turn on. And I kind of went, okay, let's follow the cords. And the cord was plugged in to the surge protector. I'm like, oh, good. You're using a surge protector. Is the surge protector on? Is there a light on it? No. Are you sure it's plugged into the wall? It looks like it is. I go, well, follow that cord. Okay. Where is it? Well, it's plugged into the surge protector. I was like, oh, I almost said the name.
Oh, you almost said
the name. I said, no, we have to unplug that from there and plug it in.
Names have been changed to protect their identity.
Yeah, those are some of the great stories that I have. And I have plenty more. But,
yeah, we still get some of those.
Oh, Rick's telling us to wrap it up.
We got to wrap it up.
He wants to go home for the day, though.
Yeah,
I thought you said if it was exciting, we could go longer.
He's tired.
Banker's hours.
Yeah.
No,
he's got something.
All right, what questions you have?
Somebody has a 3 p.m. appointment, so we're in a hurry for it or something.
Oh.
I have 13 minutes. Yeah, it's actually only 9:47 right now in the morning on January something.
Right before your
what's the date today? January? What day is they hearing this?
Oh, well, I have
just a minute.
I'll have to look.
It's actually December 11th, but we're gonna find. It's actually you're listening to this on January.
January 27th.
So it's January 27th at 9:47.
Isn't that crazy?
Man, where'd the time fly?
Yeah. We missed Christmas, New Year's.
We missed all that.
Did you guys have a good Christmas?
Yeah, Christmas was great.
Yeah.
How about those lions?
Dang, I just got way older. Only a couple more months till my birthday.
You were saying
49 and 512.
You said, you're a lot closer to 50 than we were when we started this podcast.
Yeah, that's for sure. All right, you got a final question?
I only have 2 questions really left. So the main one is, so customers that have print and cuts, what type of customers are probably fine just staying with a print and cut versus customers that should look at adding a Graphtech to that?
That's a great question. I would say somebody doing lower to medium production, if it works for what they're doing and they're not turning away jobs based on what somebody's coming to them for, they're probably in a good spot. I think if it's somebody who's looking to up their throughput and automate their system a little bit more, then longer runs, as we've talked about, pretty much everything we covered, they need to come to a Graphtech.
Can I answer that too?
Sure.
Okay, if you have one print cut device and you're not busy enough to keep it running, work harder. Is that a good answer? Work harder. Get more work. Unless you're just mom working out of your garage, that's fine. But if that's your living,
yeah,
man, get a sales rep. Let's go. Let's work harder because one is not enough to make enough money. So work harder. Get a Graphtech. Let's roll.
I will show you the flag from 3 episodes ago. How many episodes ago was that?
Couple episodes.
4 episodes ago.
Gary, we had a flag behind me that said "Nobody cares, work harder." That's what everybody got me for Christmas.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Hey, that's in the Bible too. Well, it's not exactly in the Bible.
Which Bible?
Which version?
Yeah,
which Bible?
Like King James?
Wait, you're gonna get. It's like, I think it's like Thessalonians 5:10, where if you don't work, you don't eat.
You might be.
So
right.
you can take it any way you want, but I think it says if you don't work, you don't eat.
That's how you
translation.
Translation: work harder. Nobody cares. Work harder. What God cares. The rest of us, no. Work harder.
All right, you heard it here. No comment from my end. The last thing I had,
comments are now disabled.
To let you kind of cover all the base in Graphtech. So you said at the beginning you have some flatbed cut options.
Yes.
What options do you have for that, and kind of what is the primary target for those products?
Sure. Our flatbed options are basically flatbed versions of our roll feed line. So we have an FCX 4000 model. It's an electrostatic. We have a 19 by 26. It's a tabletop version. And then we have a 24 by 36, which stand is optional. And that's electrostatic. It's going to do thinner materials, thinner magnetic material. You can do box prototyping. It's a low production type machine. It's to a price point, and in the sense that it's not a router, so you have to get that out of your head. It's a flatbed cutter, so you're not going to be doing coral or things like that, which one of the things we bring up with our...
Beep that out, Rick.
I forgot.
Oh, that's
I forgot
right.
to get the board.
Beep.
Beep.
Sorry, you got to put the...
Coral is a brand name that we don't sell.
Okay. So,
but our number one listener is Don Long. He sells their fluted core, laminar core.
And we
Coral
say
is his competitor. Every time we say it, he sends me a long swear word.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
So we've been beeping it out every time someone says it
to you.
Yep.
Which actually we've been saying it more since he told us to stop saying it. So it's not really working out.
Please don't say
it. We're just poking the bear.
So they don't cut laminar core products. There you go, Don. You're welcome.
And then we have an FCX 2000, which is the step up model. And I'll get to the one last point on both of them as well in comparison. It's a vacuum hold down table. You can do a little bit thicker material. People use this model to do motocross graphics. And the reason they do that is because you're using thicker, I think they call it like strike guard type material, that doesn't sit as flat as when it's going through a roll feed cutter because of the memory on the media and just the way it is, the rigidity of it. So it's a good tool for that purpose. The other difference between the two is it's similar to the CE series. To the FC series would be the force. They're dual head cutters, so you can do cut and crease. But the FCX 4000 has 600 grams or 500 grams of force on tool head 1 and tool head 2, and the FCX 2000 has 500 and 1,000 grams of force. So you can do thicker, more dense material with the FCX 2000 as a step up.
We have one, right? What do we have?
You do have an FCX 2000.
We have an FCX 2000. If you're looking for one, you want one, I will get rid of it.
We got a good deal.
I got a great deal. Better than you'll find any place in the country, nation, world.
So and it'll still have full warranty.
Full warranty, ready to roll. It's outside my office. It's in the way. I'm tired of running into it.
Are we done with cutting magnetics on that thing?
We've been cutting magnetics and puzzles on that thing.
Oh, you've been doing more?
Weeks. Let me tell you.
Cuts magnetics, cuts puzzles. Awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
And magnetics. Yeah, magnetics.
So a lot of different applications like that you can use.
If you're looking for one and you want a great deal at the beginning of this year, it's January.
Yeah, you can't
January 27th.
January 27th.
So you just came into a big job.
We'll sell it to you. Get a hold of us. And if they don't give you a great price, ask to talk to me personally. I'll give you a better price than they give you.
Yep. His cell phone number is 616.
Yeah. And we have the vac pump on that sucker, don't we?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Oh yeah, that thing is fully.
It's ready to roll.
Ready to rock and roll. So,
all right.
That was pretty much all my questions.
Okay.
The only one I have that we kind of close with is, what do you think sets Graphtech apart from its competitors in the market?
Well, I think we've just talked about it throughout the entire episode. One is our longevity, where we build our machines to last. Part of it is our dealer network, Wensco. There's a lot of value add there and a lot of knowledge that your customers can rely on with you if they purchase from you after the sale. And then our support, and I hope a little bit of that is me in there too. But we don't just sell the product. I mean, to Domingo's point, and I've had people come up to me at shows saying, "Hey, I have a CE 3000." I'm like, "What does that even look like?" It's way before my time even. Asking questions, but at least we try to find you an answer, and if not, we try to point you in the right direction.
Perfect. Well, Gary, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it, guys.
Absolutely.
I think it was a great conversation. Hopefully you guys learned something about cutters. Domingo, Didn't learn anything. He knows everything there is to know about cutters. That's why we brought him on.
Everything, but
he's the expert.
I don't want you calling me.
I was thinking we did. Do we even need Gary?
No,
well, that's right.
He kept overstepping him the whole time.
Well, I was just listening to the show.
Sorry, he doesn't know about the new models. He only knows about the old ones.
Yeah, I only know the old ones.
That's why we had to bring Gary.
He said, "What's FC?"
Yeah,
I was about ready to take a drink out of Tyler's cup. Don't know what's in there.
He said barcode. He's like, "What are these barcodes they're talking about?
What are you talking about?
Bar.
Is this thing sprocket fed?"
So they have a scanner?
Yeah, that's tow bar. You mean tow bar?
2 bar.
2 bar.
2 bar.
2 bar. We go.
Bar.
He was out there looking at it earlier, and he was trying to figure out how it even works. There's no perforation on the vinyl on the end. He couldn't figure it out.
Yep. This isn't sprocket fed.
Yeah, exactly. It's friction fed.
Big Gerber guy. Yep.
So
I am the Gerber guy.
Yep.
If you have any questions, call me.
And his cell phone number is
800
253
555.
All right, guys. Thanks. Appreciate you coming out.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
Appreciate you guys.
Thanks
We'll
for
see you
having me.
guys in the next episode. So
Appreciate it.
Bye.
See ya.